really appreciate you being part of the show.
Thank you.
That Kate, man, that Kate just connects everybody, doesn't she?
She's actually the best connector ever. She's really good at networking. I tell her, she's like, I'm not trying to network. I'm like, oh, but you're really, really good at it. So
I think she likes connecting people that she knows they'll either click or get along. Because every person she's introduced me to, it's been a phenomenal experience.
She's amazing. She's a good person.
How do you know Kate?
Kate actually came to my retreat, my Beyond Brilliant photography retreat in Costa Rica. And she came it was a really funny story, actually. She came as a student, or as an attendee, I should say.
Okay.
And I don't know exactly how I put the pieces together, but I somehow realized that she was actually an instructor at WPPI.
Okay.
And then she was like, I saw that Lindsay was there and I'm friends with Lindsay. And it just kind of came full circle and it was really neat. And then when she came to the retreat, I really connected with her. And actually, we had a really nice conversation one night. It was just the two of us. Everyone had gone to bed. We were sitting out on the balcony. We were just really connecting. And I was like, you know what? Why don't you just come and teach at the next one? So, and then we just had a friendship that blossomed. But I can tell she really loves to connect people and network. And she's just an amazing person.
I don't know how to describe her personality. She's so calming.
Well, she's a yogi.
Is that what she is?
She is.
I never asked her.
Yeah, so that's another part where we connected, is that, she's really into yoga. I'm into yoga. And it's funny because, there are a couple times, during our relationship or our friendship where she's like, breathe, come, this is why I need you in my life. It's a good.
Everything makes sense now that I know that. When I remember her in imaging and all these different places I saw her, it's great.
She has that voice.
Well, Jessica McKnight, I didn't say your last name when I introduced you. Tell me about your retreats. Beyond Brilliance or Brilliant?
Beyond Brilliant photography retreats. So I decided a while ago that I really believe that the mind-body connection is really important. I really wanted to create a space for people where they could be their true authentic self, where they could gain tools to help them in not just their business, but their life. And I believe that when you work on yourself, mentally, physically, and you become a better person, you can show up better in your business as well. Aside from that, I just really wanted to create a community of people where they could just be real, be authentic, not have to posture, feel like they belong, that feel like they are really, truly a part of a real connection, a real community.
Do you feel that the intentions as to why the retreat exists brings people that logically would gravitate towards one another and have a great experience together? Because it's only for 20 people. It's
only for 20 people. This is our third year doing it. And I will have to say that for sure, there's an alignment there. The people that we're attracting, I think that they're already kind of consciously looking to work on themselves, or they're in a place where they're like, something in my life or in my business isn't working. What is that piece? And so I think that when they either see an ad for us or they go searching for us, those are the things that they're searching for and looking for. And I think that the dynamic there really just makes the retreat an amazing, amazing experience. I will say, though, although one time recently somebody wrote on my ad, it feels like you have to be super fit for that. I'm like, no, actually, it's the opposite. I mean, the yoga part is a small part of it, but the yoga is for everybody. It's a gentle yoga. It's a restorative yoga. But most of it is more mindset, meditation, being disconnected from our phones and being connected in nature. That's also another thing that we don't have a lot of. It's also about being in the now. It's about adventure, right? Having fun cultural experiences. So we have Texas coming up, which I'm super excited. And that's Pratik, Nick, and Bella Kotek, and myself. And we're actually having a private Native American powwow, which I think is really cool. So depending on where our retreats are, we have a specific cultural experience that goes along with that. And yeah, I mean, there's a lot to it. We actually have 12 pillars that we have to follow for every retreat.
Okay.
And so
at a high level, what do they encompass, the 12 pillars?
Well, they all have to have yoga and meditation. They have to have organic chef, um, food, mostly pescatarian, vegetarian. So a lot of it is about fueling the body with really, really good food while they're there, because it goes into every cell and obviously
Well,
makes what you put in.
yeah.
Um, the cultural experience, having an actual entertainment, having an adventure. So there's just a whole bunch of things that we follow to make sure that it stays consistent across the board, but also that people are having a really good time. So we also do business, we do lighting, posing, styling. So we try to hit all the markers for like what encompasses a photography business.
Right.
And then we try to make sure that they're having a good time while they're at it, but they're also working on themselves. So I think it's just a really fun and unique experience. Like,
Tell me why, and I know probably why. Why do you feel that connecting to nature is so important now? It used
we're
to be the norm.
yeah, we're behind our screens 24/7. I think that we need to be more grounded. I think that being in nature allows us to calm our nervous system. I think that being in nature allows us to kind of step away from things and think a little bit more clearly. Um, energetically, I mean, nature has an energetic charge,
Right.
right? So if we're grounding or touching trees or touching nature or just breathing in fresh, nice air. Actually, I got really sick in Costa Rica with COVID one time when I went out there. This was not related to a retreat. And I was by myself and I ended up in the hospital. And um, by the way, it was the best care I ever had. They were incredible. I was like, and I had paid hardly anything for it. I walked out, I was like, what? I was like, "Are you sure that was for my whole hospital stay?" I was like, "Really?" I felt like I was cheating the system there.
Here's a tip.
Right? I was like, but when I went back, I had to do a follow-up, and I went back and the doctor literally prescribed that I go to the ocean and stay there for an hour every single day, and I actually laughed. I'm like, "Oh, this is a joke," and the nurse was like, "Oh, no. This is very serious. You need to take this very seriously." And so I really thought about that and I was like, wow, that's really fascinating that this is being prescribed in other countries, like we should really consider that. But it is important to connect to nature, and taking that time aside to disconnect from everything that's going on and reconnect with what's important.
Absolutely. I was talking to my wife on the way here, and we're talking about the art of living. She went to the Lotus Pond, and she said there's the reason why they bought that land is apparently there's a huge amount of quartz on the grounds, and the restorative power of quartz and all these different elements, just being barefoot
Yeah.
is something that I sometimes catch myself whenever I step on grass barefoot. I'm like, oh, wow, it has been a long time. You're
Yeah.
not talking about it could have been 2 weeks since I've been barefoot. And I used to be barefoot all the time when I was a kid. It was just the thing. So it's interesting what is happening today and we'll talk about that later because I want to keep talking about the retreat
Hmm.
because these are business owners, these are photographers that I might have been doing this for many years. Some may have just started. What do you think happens to photographers when they're in business for the long term? That how would this retreat help them?
It takes a
Depend.
toll on our bodies and our minds for sure. I mean, even if you're running the most efficient business as a photographer, we have so much that we have to do. It takes a lot of our time, a lot of our mental energy, and that's one of the things that we're not designed to create on demand. That is so important for people to remember. We're not artists are supposed to create when that feeling emerges from them, right? And and we're being told to create on demand, and I think that takes a lot of energy and a lot of power. And I think over time, it wears on us. And if we don't have, and that's actually how I ended up with all this. I had extreme burnout. I had extreme burnout. I wanted to um, get myself in a better place. I wanted to regulate my nervous system. I wanted to, stop having my hair fall out. I was not.
It's crazy what
It's
stress does to the
insane.
body, right?
It is insane. Clenching my jaw all the time, not sleeping. And I just thought to myself, like, how can I fix this? So I found that yoga, meditation, mindfulness, um, manifesting. look in visualizing myself in a different place. I found all of those tools extremely helpful. And so when I start to find myself, because like I have to remember, and I also have to, what are my thoughts telling me? Are these true thoughts? Are they not true thoughts? So there's just so much that can go into that are tools for us to utilize. And so I think that when photographers start to implement those things into their daily life, they will be so much better.
Is
100%.
Are these retreats a way of you giving back for you?
Yoga has many levels, or I should say different styles. And I am acts of service. I found that to be, something that I love to do. So 1000% yes, it is a way for me to give back. I'm also a gift giver. It is my love language. So I love to see people receive the gift of meditation, receive the gift of grounding, receive, all these things that you get when you go to these retreats. It lights my heart up. Like I get so excited when people walk away and say, actually, Kate, she screams to the rooftop about this retreat. She's like, it's the best I've ever been to. She's like, I had to pinch myself and like see if this is real. Um, it is truly transformational. It is life-changing. Like, not just like you go to the retreat and then you get home and you forget about it. You carry this with you for the rest of your life. The rest of your life. Super excited because Melissa and Jared Gionis are actually doing one with us in April, and it'll be the first men and women's
The
retreat.
co-ed one, right? Because you have the all women's first before that one, right? Okay.
We had all women's, and then we decided we had all these guys. So like, I want to go. I want to go. Now, I think it was important for me to, have an all women's because there's some women's issues that I wanted to address and that sort of thing. But I didn't want the guys to miss out. So now we have that one going on, and Kate will be there. Kate will actually be at the one in January. So the one in January is Lindsay Adler, myself, Kate Scadleon, and Kimber Greenwood. She's with Water Bear Photography, and she's actually going to do
Oh, I know. I know her work.
amazing. She's on part. She's going to do an underwater class,
Right.
which will be super cool.
I need to take her class eventually when she has it up because she's North Florida, if I remember correct.
She is. She is. And then in April, it's Melissa, Jerry, myself, Kate, and Marco Ibanez. And that's going to be men and women. So that'll be really
That'll be exciting.
And
Get the feedback on that. You're right, though. I think I feel that when they get home, the reason it sounds cliche, like it'll transform your life. Like it does. So certain events in life or certain things that you do, like traveling to a foreign country and seeing how people live in a different country outside of the United States will ground you, hopefully. Not just be like, that's it, like most tourists are on a cruise ship. But if you start to see how people live in this world and how appreciative they are, it grounds you for like, maybe what I worry about, it's not that big of a deal. And perhaps it should be less consumption. And I never thought about the artist side of we're being told to create on demand. And I felt that because my photography, I had to do other things. So I'm like, I don't want my photography to be the burden of keeping me afloat.
Yeah.
Because then I'll have this animosity with my art. And I don't want to do that as an artist. So I do agree that this create on demand, like you have to post every week. You have to do this. You have to do that. It's just, it kills the artist. It kills the artist.
Yeah.
What do you think the role of an artist has been in history? And what do you think it should be now?
That's a tricky question. I think, that's a loaded question. I think the role of an artist, I think it was to tell the story of the time of what has gone on.
Right.
I think it's also to showcase beauty or, again, whatever's going on in the world, I think the role of the artist now has become very commercialized. I think a lot of people don't respect artists as much as they did back then. I think maybe because of social media, we're able to see more artists now than we did back then.
Absolutely, yeah.
Which is kind of cool. I'm actually glad that people have more of a platform now. But yeah, that's a tricky question. I definitely think it's a little muddier now than it used to be.
with the artists that you're connecting and yourself as an artist, what do you think your role is as an artist? What are you hoping to leave behind besides all the people that you've been able to transform in the way they think? I think you're going to have an impact with a lot of people that are going to change the path they take in life. What else would you like to be? I don't like to say remember because some people don't care about being remembered, but what kind of impact would you like to leave in the world?
I think I want people to be their true self, their true authentic self, to create what they feel like their heart calls them to create, not what they feel like the world needs to see. Because the world needs more authenticity and less copycats, so to speak. Um, and we were kind of talking about this a little bit before we got started, is that I played it safe for a really, really, really long time. And I think playing it safe stifled my growth. I was having a conversation with Johnny Everett not long ago. I told him, I said, I'm the Martha Stewart of the photography industry right now because I'm just breaking out. I'm almost 50 years old. Um, and that's okay too. It doesn't matter. Age doesn't matter. You can live your dream, do whatever, you want at any time. But I think that I would probably be much further if I gave myself permission. So what I want photographers to do is to quit worrying about what everybody else is doing, quit worrying about how you look to everybody else, quit worrying about what people think of you. There's a lot of posturing in our community, just a little bit. But I think just being real. It's okay if you're not way up here. Um, it's okay if your art's different.
Yeah.
But creating your art because you love to do it and you want to put that out in the world, that's, I think, is an important thing. And I think just not killing yourself to do it. Do it in a way that you're taking care of yourself and you're loving yourself and you're not beating yourself up.
Yeah.
I think that's a lot of things, the imposter syndrome, or like, am I good enough? I'm not good enough. If you're creating art, you're good enough.
What was that? I listened to that podcast you had. What was that quote that Lindsay Adler said that if you believe in yourself, then it will be so, or something like that, in that fashion, that as long as you believe that you can do it, somehow it'll work.
Yeah, and I did say that in the podcast, and I remember she said she was teaching at my retreat in Costa Rica, and she was like, I just believed that I did it. I couldn't. I just did it. I just believed it, and I did it, and that's so profound. I don't know if she meant it to be that profound.
It's just
But
a reality, I think.
it's her reality.
Yeah.
And I think that that's one thing that's manifesting. She was told, this isn't, how are you standing out from everybody else? And she went and was like, I'll show you. I'm going to stand out from everybody else. And she did it. She was like, and I have that in me as well. When somebody tells me I can't do something, my very first retreat, there was a girl who, she kind of, she stole from me. She basically told everybody that she had created my retreat, which was not truthful. It was kind of hurtful, but it was her that gave me the fire to be like, you know what? I'm going to reach for the top. I'm going to go for the next person up. I'm going to keep going higher. And I think sometimes that's a gift too. Like sometimes in our moment, like somebody might be hurting us or doing something that doesn't feel fair, but they might be setting us up for something great. Does that make sense? So
No, I agree.
I was like, I look back, I'm like, I need to call this girl and actually thank her, because if she wasn't doing something, that she put a fire in me. So I'm like, I look back, I'm like, maybe I should thank that girl for
Yeah, at the moment we don't see it that way, but it's these little things that lead you down to where you need to go, and then down the road you'll find something else that leads you. You need to be constantly evolving. If you're not constantly evolving, then what are you doing?
right.
What are you doing? I was thinking about your retreats, and I was reading your bio. You've traveled plenty.
hmm
What's been one of the more exotic places you visited? Because I'm curious to see if you met artists there.
I've met artists everywhere I go. Um, I wouldn't say exotic. I haven't really been to any exotic
Let's
places.
take Costa Rica, for example, right?
Yeah,
What about Costa Rica? Tell me something that has stuck with you about Costa Rica that makes you want to keep coming back.
I love Costa Rica so much. The land is fantastic, but the is really what I love. And here's what I love about it. And actually, I love the fact that during our retreat, we actually take a military vehicle ATV ride through the countryside. And people get to actually see how people in Costa Rica really live. What I love about people in Costa Rica is that they believe that the wealthy are actually the people who have, and this was explained to me by several people that live there. So, that the wealthy people have more problems. They have more things to pay for. They have more things to, so they have to work harder to maintain what they have,
The lifestyle, yeah.
the lifestyle that they have. And so they love simplicity. And I remember one lady said to me, she goes, "What do I have to worry about?" She's like, "If I don't have eggs, my neighbor will have eggs, but I'll give my neighbor milk or I'll give my neighbor what they need." And the first time I was there, they had just had a flood there. And I was like, "Oh my gosh, aren't you guys devastated?" They're like, "No, we'll all come together and fix it." So they're very communal. They're very simplistic. I don't, they're not about like keeping up with the Joneses. Um, you'll see piles of like, debris, but they look at that as a resource. Like I'll just go over there and grab that piece of wood that's sitting there and I'll go fix my fence or I love that simplicity. I love the fact that less is more and um not so much being materialistic. And I find that very refreshing. I love I just think the people in their spirit, and I just find it so just a beautiful place. When I first arrived, I was like, "Oh my gosh, I don't know why did everybody talk about this place." There's a lot of trash. But it's really it's not trash to them. Like it's a resource. So it changed my mind about the way I think about things.
They see it as a resourcefulness, as a rather than to become a problem, it could be an opportunity. That's what it feels like.
Yep, 1000%.
It's great. What about artists in Costa Rica? Tell me about what kind of art is in Costa Rica?
There's lots of murals. There's a lot of people who love to paint nature, which I think is so cool. They actually, they really love their nature and their wildlife. I've met a lot of really cool photographers actually, and a lot of cool videographers. Um, a lot around surfing, which I think is very cool.
I would too. I mean,
They actually went surfing for the first time in Costa Rica at 48 years old. And I thought to myself, which was last year, I thought to myself, "Oh my gosh, why didn't I start this a long time ago?" Because I was afraid. I was fearful of getting sucked under by a wave, but I did it. It was great. I loved it. I'll definitely be doing it again. Um, so yeah, Costa Rica has a huge artist community, very vibrant. If you go to like some of the zip line places or the tourist places, there's just a lot of really beautiful murals that, I mean, they're just very detailed and stunning. And I'm like, "Oh my gosh, this is gorgeous." Like, I would love to have it in my house. I'm like, "Gosh, this is beautiful." I did buy a lot of art. Whenever I go to Costa Rica, I buy art. So that's one of the things about my house, which is funny that I'm a photographer, but I have no photography in my house at all.
I don't think that's uncommon. I had to force myself to put pictures like in the house because we like to collect things. And then we went to Mexico and all these other places, and we have more so things from other countries.
So that's how I am.
That's just
I love a lot. I love paintings. So I love like collecting paintings.
is photography your only medium, or do you experiment
No,
with anything else? Okay, what kind of paintings?
paint. Um, well, funny enough, I actually loved Bob Ross when I was really little. I loved to watch him. So I actually learned all the Bob Ross painting when
You make happy little trees and all
oh,
that good
sure,
stuff.
it's all over the place. But I do like abstract. And I do like painting murals actually. And I own a house in Southwest Florida. And on my back porch, I just have a huge Costa Rican themed mural that I did that took me months on end. But it was very therapeutic for me. I would put on my Costa Rican music, so to speak. I love world music. Get me weird.
Strip
I'm just
Seriously, I get beat.
no, it is. It's really great. I love it. Well, I love all world music, like all of it. I'm very fascinated by different music from all around the world, and so I just create these playlists and listen to them because I try to imagine myself like that's one of the things I like to do is for my meditation and to kind of get myself out of my head is to like take myself to another place and just like chill.
I know at the Texas, you're going to do the powwow. Did you incorporate rhythm or music in your retreats or any aspect of that? Because I know the music is also very therapeutic.
So all of my retreats have playlists. So whenever we're doing like style shoots, they'll have playlists. So there is some Native American music. There's some country music for Texas. Um, we're also having, so another part of Texas is we have a belly dancer coming, and she's also doing, it's really cool 'cause she's actually doing some belly dancing, and some burlesque dancing to some kind of like, um, Western Indian mix,
Okay.
which is really cool. I'm really excited to see that one. Actually, I sent her some stuff. She's like, "I never heard of this." I was like, "Well, here you go." 'Cause I'm a freak for music. I love music. So, yes, all of them have playlists that I have, and we incorporate that into, the shooting time or, even dinner time. Like, we'll have music that's on that it I just want them to feel like they're really in the moment.
Nice, nice. In terms of art, I ask this to everybody because I'm always curious. Is art something that is unique just to you? Does it run in your family, extended family, or anything like that? Where's art come from for you?
Hmm. Okay, so that again is a unique question for me specifically. Um, so my whole family is musical. And I grew up playing music, singing music, all Appalachian bluegrass music. So me too. Bluegrass music. Um, so everybody had an instrument in their hand. Everybody grew up, one way. Um, for me, um, I don't know. I don't know how. This is really funny. I remember when I was really little, I always used to listen to. I'm originally from Maryland, and I would listen to Maryland Public Radio to the classical music station. They would always have like, make your donation. We're gonna go off the air or whatever. So I literally saved up my lunch money
Oh,
like forever. I didn't eat. I like nobody knew, but I called one day and it was like, I have like $12. I was like, I want to donate. Please don't go off the air. So they made me like an honorary member and they were like, does your mom know that you saved your lunch money? I'm like, I don't think
that,
so. But for art, I'll get back to that.
that is art, by the way.
That is, no,
That
it is art. So I had a difficult childhood. And so for me, I would always escape to my room. And so painting, drawing, writing, I just put myself in my own little world. And it was kind of a way of soothing myself and kind of a healing mechanism for me. So I always loved art and I always found it just a way of in all mediums, I would write poetry, I would write stories, I would draw pictures, I would paint pictures, I got into photography in sixth grade with kind of a program for children that were at risk youth, not because I was a bad kid, but because I had a difficult home life. Um, and so that's how I got into photography actually was doing that. My very first picture I ever took, I was like, this is the coolest thing ever. Like, and I remember having like a little disposable camera and having like cellophane and I would like smush it all up and stick it over top of to make a foggy little. I just got really into like, how can I make this different and unique and fun? And it really was. And then I put it down for a little while because, I became a mom and then I was like, I went to a trip to New York City and I went into a museum and I was like, what am I doing? Like, this is something I love. Like, I got to get back to that. And so when my daughter was like 2 years old is when I start getting back into photography. It's like a real serious, like, I want to do something with this with my life. So,
I feel that artists in general, and I say artists because it's any art, the further and further you expand from it, it's like a rubber band. I don't know who told me this, like this visual, but like the more you pull, two things are going to happen. Either you're going to come back with a force
mm-hmm,
or it's going to snap.
mm-hmm.
And you're probably going to go back to it because you cannot, if you have an artistic bone, it's like it's going to make you eventually, if you push too far out, something's happening.
Yeah.
And either you may have burnout or you may have resurgence after a burnout. So
Yeah.
glad to have you back in photo because I saw that photo shoot video, the helicopter that you did. How many times have you had helicopters in your shoots?
So, a lot, actually. So, I'm infatuated with flying. Like, I think it's so cool. So every time I go somewhere, I try to do a helicopter tour, specifically helicopters. I love helicopters. I love when they take the door off and I can like hang off this hop.
Totally normal.
I love jumping from planes. So I really love being in the sky. I think it's really, really cool. I'm fascinated with, planes and helicopters. And when I used to live in Clearwater, I lived across the street from Tampa Bay Aviation. So I used to do a lot of their marketing and stuff. And so I would go over there and be like, hey, what do you got for me to shoot? Can I? So I really was lucky to have the ability to shoot with helicopters and planes and that sort of thing.
How will you describe the vantage point of seeing how minuscule we look when I've only jumped out of a plane once before I have kids. I want to do it again, but I'm terrified for some reason. But I remember what it looked like. How would you describe that? Seeing everything so minuscule when you're up in the air.
Ah, I when I look out when I'm ready to jump out of a plane and I look out at it, I'm just so taken back. I don't know. I guess it's different for everybody. I don't have the adrenaline rush. I never did. I don't feel like, oh my gosh, I'm jumping from a plane. There's an absolute peace that comes over me. And when I look out and I see everything, I'm just enthralled at how absolutely magnificent and beautiful. And actually, obviously, when you jump from different locations, when I jump from a place in Florida or Vegas or Colorado, all of those landscapes look different. And I think that's even cooler, when you're looking out and you're like, oh my gosh, look at the Gulf, look how beautiful that water is. Or when I'm in Colorado, like I was like, oh my gosh, look at these mountains. I had a really cool experience in Colorado. It was my first time jumping, and I thought to myself, God, that's always been on my bucket list to do. I'm just going to rip the Band-Aid off and do it. I was going for actually the Telluride Bluegrass Festival. And before I went, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to do it. I'm just going to jump. And when I jumped, we're gliding, and then I look down, and there's a bald eagle literally underneath of me, and I'm flying with this bald eagle, and I'm like, what is going on?
What do you do at that point? Do you salute at that point? What do you do?
What? There's like fireworks. I heard like the anthem going. No, but it was a really cool experience. I was like, I'm like literally.
I don't even think many skydivers can probably say that happens, because how often can that happen?
So cool. I was like, holy crap. Like, this is so cool. Yeah.
I like that. I like that a lot. Tell me, is there anybody that you admire, whether living or past, and who would that be? And it could be more than one.
Okay, I have a long, long list. I have a long list. Kind of talked about this. I really love Ram Dass. He is, for those who don't know who Ram Dass is, he is a spiritual leader, guru. Very important for me and very important to the yoga world. I love listening to his talks. They're very soothing for me. I love listening to his meditations. Those are things that I can put him on and ride a bike or take a walk in my headphones, and I come back in an hour and I have a totally different view in the world, and I feel very enlightened. I love the thought of everybody and everything being connected. And that thought actually changes how I treat people. To know that you are a part of me and I'm a part of you. Like, do I want to be mean to myself? Like, I don't want to be like, I don't like, or if I see somebody that's homeless on the street, like, how would I want to be treated? Do I want somebody to walk past me and not offer me water or not offer me anything? Like, that's, those are things that I think of, that we're all connected in this universe together. And so I think that I love that. Other people that I, in our industry, obviously Lindsay, I have a ton of admiration for her. Getting to know her a little bit, I just think that she's a wonderful person. But I also have a lot of admiration for how she has stayed consistent in the industry. Like, there's people that pop up and they disappear, and she's stayed consistent, and that takes a lot.
Those have no scandals, which is great.
No, none. But that just takes a lot of work and consistency. She's a very hard worker.
She sounds so authentic.
She's very
When you're authentic, it's actually a lot easier.
authentic.
Yeah.
Kate, she's very authentic. Pratik, authentic. I've really ran into a lot of beautiful, authentic people. Um, my children, I have tons of admiration for them. I look up to them. Actually, my children, it's really weird. When I became a mother, you think you're teaching your kids all the time, but my children have taught me a lot about the world, and I respect them, and I have a lot of admiration for the humans that they become beautiful people. Let me see. Who else would I see, I have just admiration for everybody, if I'm gonna be honest.
I'm seeing a pattern of people who are authentic. And
It is.
because I don't think people realize that putting a facade, showing two versions of yourself out there, not no. Sometimes I see some photographers, and I don't know who they are. Are you the person that I met in person?
Yeah.
Or are you the person that you are online?
Yeah.
It's a hard thing to reconcile with people. So when you come across somebody who's authentic, they don't want anything from you. They're maybe just trying to help you out too. It's very refreshing. It's needed. I think it's very needed.
It is needed, and I think that, that's again, I have some things in the works with other retreats and we're looking at putting together a conference and that sort of thing. Just having a conversation with Johnny Edward recently about that, and we were just talking about how important it is to be authentic, to create safe spaces where people don't have to put on a show.
Yeah.
Listen, you are who you are. Even me, look, I'm a I did yoga teacher training. I'm running these retreats on mindfulness.
Yeah.
Do I struggle with it? Absolutely. I'm human. It is a daily exercise. Are there going to be days that I'm like in the scarcity mindset? Of course. But I have to continue to work on that. But that doesn't mean that, you know, what I'm doing is invalid just because I have moments like that. That means I'm human. And I think that that's the thing that people forget is that, you know, I recently realized on my social media, like, I wasn't posting regularly. And was it because I wasn't, I took a break
Yeah.
because I wanted to take a break because I wanted to give myself self-care. I don't care what people think if they're going, oh my gosh, she has no clients. She didn't post in a week. I don't care because I'm not trying to prove that to anybody. I'm living my life and doing my thing and I'm happy and I'm trying to, I'm just trying to be the best version of myself and be as authentic as I possibly can be. And I don't need to put the fakeness up there because it's not going to serve me later. And like, what's it going to do? You know what I mean? Like when somebody meets you or, you're going to just have to put up a facade the whole time or,
No, I think after a while, you also learn interacting with people, whether it's relationships, friends, marriages, whatever. It's just easier just to don't lie, be authentic. Because if anybody were to tell me, oh, I heard you said this, this, and this, if it sounds like something, it sounds like something I said.
Yeah.
That's it. I'm like, yeah, that sounds like something I would say. It's not, no, I didn't say that. I'm like, why would I be? That's how you spot people trying to make up stuff too, which is unfortunately what people are going to do. And not just in the photography industry, but also life, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
So I'm curious about one thing
Mhm.
to wrap this up. This is a new question. We're at a very interesting age. We're in an age of where I think it's a new renaissance in
Yeah.
regards to, it's very, very bold to say that, but we had the Renaissance, life-changing for humanity. Then we had Industrial Revolution. One could say maybe the age of information, but I think now we reached that point of we are getting to a point where 1 year away from not knowing what's real
Yeah.
or what's artificially created.
Yeah.
I think that is a landmark for humanity because when you start questioning what's real, because before it was, I'll believe it when I see it.
Mm-hmm.
Now you're seeing something that could be fake. How do you think that's going to shape us as you're trying to connect with people, to be grounded, be with nature, but there's this massive force that's coming not only just for art, but just in general. How do you think we're going to work through that?
I don't know. That's a very tough thing because even I'm, sometimes I'm bored. I have to like triple check sometimes. Be like, oh my gosh, that's actually not real. Um, but I think that's also another reason why my retreats are so important. I'm not.
What are the retreats?
What are the retreat? No, I'm serious. Like, listen, we're going to have to incorporate AI. All photographers are starting to do it, right? Like I use a photo, that's AI. There's, I'm using ChatGPT, that's AI. Like we've already started the integration. And if you're not using it, you're kind of going to be, you are going to be behind because, um, it, even with AI, listen, we're not keeping up. In terms of what's real, what's not real, I think it's really sad in a way, but also kind of neat. I don't know. It's a hard space to be. But I will say too, I think that no matter what, I think that we do need to take time to unplug and go back. I don't know how that's going to shape up. I think it's a very interesting thought.
I feel like artists are gonna pivot and start saying made by human,
Yeah.
having the label of made by a human, not by an AI, and then maybe the value of artist come back.
But then I question too, like for instance, in my own photography, um, specifically, I'm using the AI generate a lot for hair because I work on the beach and I'm putting that in there. But is it done with malice? Is it done to fool people? Is it done to hurt somebody? No. So I guess a lot of that would question, what is the intent?
Yep.
Because a lot of what I'm seeing, right? And I'm saying like, if you're not trying to fool somebody, right? Recently, I used an AI picture in one of my advertisements because it's something that I wanted to be there, but I haven't done yet. So I'm like, okay, well, I'll use this piece because I want it. Was I trying to fool somebody? No. Was I So I think it's the intention, in the sense of, am I trying to trick somebody? Am I trying to, I think when I'm looking some of the stuff that's coming out when it comes to like politics or things that are happening in the world, or I think some of those are done for likes and follows, and they're done in a malicious way.
Agreed.
So I think if people are being honest about what they're doing and they're not doing it with intention to hurt people, again, um, I think it's just going to be a matter of seeing how it all plays out. Because for some of it, it's for me, like some of it's a good thing, like I've had people be like, oh my gosh, my curls fell before I got here, the heat from Florida, and so I can put those curls back in their hair and it looks amazing and they're happy. And that's a gift for me to be able to give that to them,
Yeah.
Versus, and if particularly because so much is demanded of us, none of us can keep up right now.
Yeah.
Social media demands everything, people are using ChatGPT, we still can't keep up. So in a way that AI is needed for us. I mean, look at the workload of what we had to do before when we had to retouch skin. Now you have AI with Evo, where you're like, zoop.
You have colorists, you have everything. Everyone's
It's
like,
amazing.
yeah. No, I think you're right. I think it's the intention is very critical and the use case is very critical, and people will always use things maliciously no matter what with new technology. But we shall see, right? We shall see on that one. I do think that it's hopefully going to make people reconnect with what's important, which is what's
Yeah.
real. There's still going to be people that are still going to be glued to their phone and whatnot, but I do hope that it brings the value of art again, because of the fact that now you're going to value what somebody created, not a not a computer. And I think it goes back to, I think what I heard you say, which is a very important, where you feed your mind. So if you're feeding your mind with a lot of whatever's on this thing right here and whatever's fake, whatever's being projected to you, versus just going into nature, go out, talk to people. This is why I do this. I talk to people because people are not doing it. People are not telling their stories, and I get to record them.
I
So
love that. I'll tell you too, recently I actually had this conversation with one of my girlfriends, Debbie. She was saying, I was talking to somebody and he's saying, your feed's going to look different than my feed. And I said, well, whenever I start to get bad things coming up on my feed or fake things or things that I don't want to put into my mind, I purposely go and search up happy things for good things. I try to get my feed to be positive, and I also try to give myself windows of downtime away from my phone so that I can,
they got very moody because they were talking about the algorithm. That's what
right. That's what he's like. I'll show you what's up. Yeah. So anyway,
No, that's great. Well, I really appreciate your time.
thank you.
You have any questions for me? I totally just, okay. Great. The coffee, What is this, Bad Mother coffee? I mean, it's pretty strong. But
Yeah, but you got the sippers. I'm like over here, like,
and just chugging this thing. But I'm really excited.
Julian here.
Yeah, I'm really excited about your workshops.
Thank you.
I'm hoping try to get this knocked out before. So you might watch this while you're in Texas. So if you're watching this in Texas, I hope you're having a great time. Everybody's having a great time. And you have one in January. I don't think I'll see you at Imaging because you're prepping for your retreat.
Yeah, actually, yeah, I'll be in Costa Rica.
Yeah,
Terrible.
it's okay. I'll be in Tennessee in the cold. Well, thank you again for being part of the show. I'm sure it won't be the last time. And I'm going to get you, Kate, and everybody at some point all together and just have
Yeah,
just a chat. And we'll see where it goes.
I love that.
Awesome.
Thank you so
Oh,
much.
my goodness.
I mean-
Hold on. My goodness. Where are my manners? Please tell me about your websites and all your socials.
My websites and my socials. Okay, so my photography website is Jessica McKnight, MCKNIGHT, JessicaMcKnight.com. And then my retreat, I actually do personal coaching for photographers. So I incorporate the mindset and all that into my coaching. And that's Brilliance Key, not brilliant, but brilliancekey.com. And then if you go to Brilliance Key /retreat, that's where you'll find all the retreat information at. And so our goal is to do 8 to 10 retreats a year,
Wow.
which is a lot. So to everybody in the photography world, we're looking for sponsors. No, listen, no, I'm serious. No, we are. We're really ramping them up. I think that's the big part about community is, you have to be consistent with community. So yeah, we're looking to do 8 to 10, and we're looking to do at least one conference right for now. So
Awesome.
that's where you find me.
Well, I'm excited to see what happens. So we'll see it a year from now. You'll have your 8 retreats, your 2 conferences.
I hope so. I mean, that's the goal. I love what I do. I really do. I actually feel like I fell into something that I'm very passionate about. I love
Nice.
bringing everybody together. I love putting them together. I love doing all the details. I love going and selecting all the gifts that everybody's going to get, because that's also a part of my retreat. Everybody gets gifts.
It's a gift giver part of you.
It's a gift giving party.
Yeah.
It really is. So
Well, great. Well, I look forward.
You're amazing.
Yeah. I never know how to end these things because we're going to keep talking after this, but
Yeah.
eventually I had to stop pressing record. But
Yeah.
I really appreciate this. I'm glad that we had a chance to meet. And this place, the Station House in St. Pete,
Very
good.
cool.
This is only one location. This thing is.
Yeah.
So
It's a very cool place for sure. Thank you for your time and interviewing me, and you're so sweet. I've actually really loved getting to know you and chat with you before this. It's been really nice.
Oh, yeah. I love it too.
He's an amazing human, awesome person. He's got a great heart, great personality. So
We'll be in touch. This is what happens. We'll never stop talking now.
I love it.
All right.
Perfect.
Sure. Bye.
Nice day.
Namaste.